evening. Your Excellency, Mr. Delightful Ambassador and Signora Vital. Thank you both for welcoming us to your beautiful home. Muito grato, muita grata, obrigadissima. We are most grateful. And thank you for inviting these distinguished guests. Your Excellencies, de Heer Ambassador van Nederland en Madame Schuwer, hartelijk welkom. Mr. Ambassador, Herr Botschafter aus Liechtenstein und Frau Jäger, herzlichen Willkommen. Monsieur l'ambassadeur de Belgique et Madame Bruter, soyez les bienvenus. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and boa noite. And welcome back to our loyal Opera Camerata devotees. How we love to explore the operatic vagaries and foibles of the human condition. This evening we will leave the sparkling shores of Portugal and head for the craggy highlands of Scotland, where, and how very odd, everyone has an Italian name. Oh well, it's opera. Anyway, we will also be traveling back in time to the mid-19th century, to a time that these days is somewhat hard to understand. A time of extremes and melodrama. Tonight's opera was written in 1835. At that time, continental Europeans, and Italians especially, were fascinated with the romance, history, and culture of the Highlands of Scotland. Gaetano Donizetti is said to have admired the works of the famous Scotsman, the father of the historical novel Sir Walter Scott. The Bride of Lammermoor had inspired several works at the time. Most compelling, of course, is tonight's three-act tragic opera Lucia di Lammermoor. At the time, Donizetti was the sole reigning genius of Italian opera. Tonight's musical creation was the greatest single success of Donizetti's career. The subtle orchestra color is dominated by horns, giving the score its distinctive and melancholy tone. Tonight, we see the unfolding story of an emotionally fragile Lucy Ashton. It is very like the story of Juliet and her Romeo. Lucia, belongs to one family who has long been feuding with another. Hers is the powerful clan from the castle of Lammermoor. The upstart Ravenswoods are that hated rival clan from down in the glen. But we have a problem, and it comes sauntering in the form of one handsome fellow from the wrong side of this castle. And his name is Edgardo. He is our romantic tenor, the one who has made furtive visits to the castle to see the very lovely but oh so delicate Lucy Ashton. But of course, there is another problem, another big conflict, but by now I'm sure you've guessed what it is. Yes, our fragile beauty, Lucia, has a hot-headed brother. His name is Enrico. Our volatile baritone is actually the son of the Laird of Lammermoor. And guess who Brother Enrico's most bitter rival is? Yes, you guessed it. Liz? Edgardo. So, here we are. As we enter the scene at Lammermoor Castle, we meet the captain of the guard, Normanno. Someone has caught sight of a prowler just outside the battlement walls. The chaplain, Raimondo, is cautious. Enrico is known to have a temper. So at the right moment, Normanno reveals to Enrico that the intruder might actually be his bitter enemy, Edgardo Ravenswood. Indeed. He says the fellow has been coming regularly to see Lucia in secret. Enrico, I fear that Lucia has fallen in love with your most hated rival. A Ravenswood? No, it cannot be. Normanno sees nothing but murderous rage in Enrico's eyes and asks what he will do. Enrico sings Cruda funestas mania. To be sure, Normanno, I will end this. I will get him out of her life. And out of mine. In Act 1, Scene 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the orchestra and our maestro, Spartaco Lavagliateri. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Benvindo di volta, senores y señores. We now go to a fountain in the park, just outside the castle. Lucia is waiting for her maid, Alizia. Lucia seems quite upset. She is frightened by something she has seen. Alizia arrives and Lucia sings, Regnava nel silenzio. Lucia then tells her maid that she has just seen a ghost. It was the girl who was killed on this very spot many years ago, murdered by a jealous man from the Ravenswood clan. Alizia gasps. A signorina, no, no, it is a sign. The apparition is trying to talk to you, to try to tell you to give up your love for Edgardo. Lucia looks stunned. But just then, Edgardo arrives and love banishes all fear from her heart. It is quite dangerous for the lovers. Alizia, no one must see us together. She sends Alizia off to keep watch. Looking into her lover's eyes, she forgets about the ghost and the bad omen. Ah, love. Edgardo holds her hand and speaks softly. He tells her that he wants to make peace with her family. He then explains that he must leave immediately for France to aid the cause of the Stuart clan. He says that when he returns, he hopes to settle this feud so that he can marry Lucia. Oh, Edgardo, I fear it is not possible. There is no time to argue, Lucia. I must go. I promise to marry you, Edgardo. They make a solemn pledge as they exchange the rings that they each had on their fingers. She kisses the ring that he gave her. Then she waves to her lover as he steals away into the night. In Act 1, Scene 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves now again in the elegant apartment of Lucia's father, Lord Ashton. There is skullduggery afoot. Enrico has just presented Lucia with a forged letter. It claims that Edgardo has taken a new lover. At this cruel news, Lucia begins weeping. She remembers the apparition and the fate of that young girl at the hands of the Ravenswoods. Is he taking revenge on my family? Enrico decides now to put the pressure on her. The reputation of our family is on your shoulders. You will destroy us if you ally yourself with him. She now believes that Edgardo has betrayed her. He is as bad as his grandfather was. Enrico moves quickly. But you can save us by uniting two powerful families. You must agree to marry Arturo. She stifles a sob. Oh, but nods yes. Banking on her loyalty, preparations had already begun for this wedding and merger. At the same time, everyone in the room is nervous that Lucia will not actually sign the wedding contract or submit to the wedding. Everything hangs in the balance. In Act 2, Scene 1. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are now inside a hallway in the castle. The hopeful groom Arturo makes his entrance. You know, he could be Normanno's twin. Looks just like him. Both handsome. Funny how that happens in opera. Anyway, the wedding guests welcome him with song. But Lucia is still devastated. She almost faints as she struggles to sign the wedding contract. Alizia and Chaplain Raimondo are on hand to help her. Arturo is quite disconcerted by Lucia. Enrico explains her sullen behavior by saying that, well, her mother just died. Isn't that odd? I mean, it's his mother too, isn't it? But Lucia's the only one who's upset. Never mind, it's opera. Anyway, with great effort, Lucia reluctantly but finally signs the wedding contract and drops the pen. The wedding can begin. But suddenly, there is a commotion as Edgardo appears in the hall. He tussles with Arturo and Enrico. Raimondo intercedes, preventing a real fight from breaking out. He calms him down. But then, for some inexplicable reason, opera? Raimondo stirs things right back up to fever pitch. How? He shows Edgardo the marriage contract that Lucia has just signed with Arturo. Edgardo screams at Lucia. He throws back her ring and grabs his back and curses her. Arturo and Enrico see the scene and demand vengeance. Edgardo is forced out of the castle, which gives us the chance to catch our breath with a dessert intermission. At the end of Act 2, Scene 2. Edgardo waits now at Wolf's Crag. He had hoped to smooth things over so he could marry Lucia, but now it's hopeless. The hot-headed Enrico appears and leaps up to challenge him to a duel, then taunts him. She jilted you. She is now in bed with her new husband. Edgardo is enraged. A line has been crossed. They stop and become deadly serious. They arrange to meet at dawn at the Ravenswood graveyard. Good thing It's not too far away. Both men are eager to play out this deadly duel at the end of Act 3. Most of the guests are still enjoying what is left of the wedding dinner, still drinking and celebrating. But suddenly, the chaplain Raimondo bursts in to tell everyone stunning news. Lucia has gone mad. She has killed the bridegroom. She has killed Arturo. Everyone turns. They gasp at the sight of Lucia standing in the doorway, crazed. She enters the hall, bloody dagger in hand. She is raving now that she will marry Edgardo. She sings the plaintive Il dolce suono. Enrico enters and sees his bloodied sister. In a flash, he understands what has happened. As Lucia collapses, Enrico goes to comfort her. But inside, he is enraged. To himself, he says, "Now, nothing will keep me from this appointment with Edgardo's sword." In Act 3, Scene 2. Like a fast-moving river in a raging storm, events are moving us swiftly toward the end of this sad tale. At the Ravenswood graveyard, Edgardo has been waiting for Enrico. In his despair, Edgardo sings about Lucia's faithlessness. He knows she has always been fragile and weak. But without her, he no longer wants to live. He resolves to kill himself on Enrico's sword. Suddenly, breaking the chill silence, the castle bells ring out. What could it mean? What is going on? He goes to check, but stops in his tracks. Raimondo is walking toward him with a strange look on his face. The hackles on Edgardo's neck stand on end. His blood runs cold as Raimondo touches his arm. Lucia is dead. The bells continue to toll as we move to the end of our story in Act 3, Scene 3.